Good evening and happy Mother's Day. Welcome to the Rant Reloaded. I know my hair's a mess. I had a hectic day. I do apologize. Anyway, today I want to talk about sleepy, creepy, addle-minded Joe Biden. And I'd like somebody to please explain to me how this man has not been impeached yet or even faced criminal charges. How, despite the truth coming out concerning the Hunter Biden laptop, that no charges have been filed on yet. And let's look at some things. Since 2016, the Democrats have manipulated and used the DOJ as a weapon to conduct its own operation in its witch hunt of Donald Trump. Starting with the Steele dossier paid for by Hillary Clinton campaign, which was later proven, even though they tried to deny it. Okay. And it turns out it wasn't actually a legitimate document. It was simply a document based on opposition research. Basically, they researched the best way to harm Donald Trump's campaign. Anyway, they did that. And top officials, FBI officials, and mainstream media tell us the entire time it's Russian disinformation. Forget that the FBI were being paid by Joe. Well, let me back up here. Okay. Then, after the dossier, we're advancing in time, about the time just before Biden gets elected. Let's not forget the failed impeachments of Donald Trump. I'm sorry, I got a little bit confused for a moment, got ahead of myself. But then we have, after the failed impeachments, just before the 2020 election, we have Hunter's laptop is exposed, and top FBI officials and mainstream media tell us it's Russian disinformation. Forget that the FBI officials were being paid by Joe Biden to bury the laptop story and evidence, which destroying evidence is a crime in and of itself. As such, Joe Biden has also committed conspiracy to destroy evidence, which is another crime. And now, years later, we're learning that Hunter's laptop story was indeed not Russian information or misinformation. Yet again, during Biden's campaign leading up to the elections, it was declared such. News outlets from ABC to New York Times were instructed to bury the story because it would hurt Joe Biden's chances. Now, again, it would hurt Joe Biden's chances of election if people knew what the truth was. This brings me to a major problem in the law regarding propaganda in the United States. Namely, I'm referring to the U.S. Information and Educational Exchange Act of 1948, or what is commonly known as the Smith-Mundt Act. This particular act was developed to regulate broadcasting of programs for foreign audiences produced under the guidance of the State Department for the purpose of disseminating propaganda to our foreign enemies. And it prohibited domestic dissemination of material produced by such programs as one of its provisions. But in 2012, the provision for foreign audience was removed, thus allowing for propagandization to be used on U.S. soil targeting United States citizens, which conveniently, this was done under Democrat President Obama with support from a Democrat-controlled Senate. And it seems that since most major networks are owned by registered members of the Democratic Party, that it is Democratic propaganda that winds up filling our airwaves. Hey, Congress, wake up. This act needs to be amended again, as soon as possible, back to its original version. Anyway, I'm going off on another tangent, so which is why I got a little bit flustered and out of place for a minute. But let's get back to my original topic. So we have the Steele dossier, the Biden laptop, which has now been proven not to be Russian disinformation, which explicitly names the big guy, which can be no one other than Joe Biden himself. Directly mentions him, involved in Hunter's Burisma deal as well as many other backroom deals with the Communist Chinese or the Chinese Communist Party. Then let's move forward a little bit more. We have the raid on Mar-a-Lago to expose supposed classified information, which by law Donald Trump, having been president, had full right to be in possession of and had full authority to declassify, meaning he could be in possession of them even after leaving office. But wait, where's the raid on properties owned by Joe Biden? Oh, that's right, there hasn't been any. Even though multiple classified documents have been found in Joe's possession at multiple locations dating back to when he was only a senator and vice president, during which times he never had the authority to remove the documents from the SCIF. And for those of you wondering what the SCIF is, a SCIF is a secured location for government officials, military officials, etc., to review top secret and classified documents to ensure that the information within those documents don't get leaked to the public. Personally, I question the validity of such a place. If you're claiming full transparency, then these documents ought to be exposed to the public. But this is the purpose of a SCIF. But anyway, he didn't have the authority to remove them from the SCIF, let alone to declassify them. Now, you may ask the question, hey, Mario, what's the difference? Joe is president now, so can't he declassify them now? And you would be valid in that question, but here's the difference. The classified documents Trump was in possession of were all from his term of presidency, nothing prior to his term of presidency. The classified documents in Joe Biden's possession spanned decades before he became president and were never declassified by any sitting president. And it has been confirmed that these documents had been in Joe's possession since long before he had the authority as president to declassify anything. Let's keep in mind also where some of these documents were stored. One of the places, I forget the name of the university, but a building dedicated to him that had representatives of the ambassadors of the Chinese government sharing offices in that building, which gives not only Hunter, Joe Biden's son, but the Communist Chinese Party access to these classified documents. Yet, the DOJ uses the FBI to strong-arm Trump with raids, yet Joe's possession of the documents is kept hush-hush till after the midterm elections of 2022 and then made to look like an innocent mistake or oversight. Does anybody else see a problem with this? I know I certainly do. Now, a Manhattan DA who is confirmed now, getting up to current time, a Manhattan DA who is confirmed to be a stout supporter of the Democratic Party, is going after Trump because he allegedly paid hush money to Stormy Daniels, who, by the way, as I'm sure everyone knows by now, is or at least was a porn star by profession. Now, that doesn't mean that anything should happen to her, that if she was assaulted or whatever, that's okay, because it's definitely not. A person's profession doesn't okay criminal activity. But there was no proof that Donald Trump did anything to Stormy Daniels, and it's not a crime to pay hush money. Politicians and businesses do it all the time when they want to keep something quiet. Usually this goes along with a non-disclosure agreement, so in order to make it a crime, the Manhattan DA had to fabricate some bullshit about it wasn't documented correctly in Trump's business records. Are you kidding me? Does the Manhattan DA intend to investigate every business that operates in their jurisdiction and has paid out hush money? Because I assure you, the amount of companies that have done that, the task will take longer than this DA's entire career, and that's even if he remains the DA until retirement. But no, he's not investigating any of the many businesses that have engaged in the same practice of paying out hush money. Only Donald Trump. So, again, Donald Trump gets dragged into court to face bogus charges. But what of Joe Biden? What of Hunter Biden? They've not been dragged into court on any of the clearly criminal activities that have been exposed by this laptop. Yet here we have a Republican majority in Congress. So my question is, why hasn't Joe Biden been impeached? Why hasn't Hunter and Joe been charged with any criminal activity? The evidence is there, yet it goes ignored by the DOJ, who is clearly in the Democrats' corner. You know what I'd honestly like to see at this point? What I'd like to see is those at the top positions within the DOJ having their financial records audited and made public, so we can see exactly who is taking bribes from who in order to protect Joe Biden and his family. I'm betting beyond all reason that the money can actually be traced back not only to the Biden family, but also to one of the people who are truly a threat to the U.S. Democrat Republic, namely George Soros. Yes, the same guy that funded Antifa, same guy who financed propaganda that fueled the BLM riots, and has actively been funding anti-American organizations for decades. By the way, he also funds the Democratic Party quite extensively. He is also a confirmed Marxist, pushing for this one world government crap, not to mention his funding of many anti-Second Amendment bills that reach Congress. And why would he fund anti-Second Amendment? Because the easiest way to for the American government to overthrow the people truly in power, which are the American citizens, is to take away their firearms. Thus, they can't fight back. Anyway, I'm about to go off on another tangent, so I'm going to leave it there for now. I'll probably get back into this next week or later, at a later date, but for now, I'm going to leave it be. Let you stew on the thoughts of it for a little bit. Anyway, I'm sorry this is so short. So I'm also sorry that I didn't do the noon broadcast. Some personal issues came up that I had to deal with, and I do apologize for that. Next Saturday, I will resume doing a noon show and a 6 p.m. show, so I hope you'll join me. Unfortunately, that's my time for today. If you want to see the broadcast again, it'll be in the uploaded videos. So, however, I am working on getting enough content together to do 2 separate shows. May take some time, but that's my ultimate goal, to do 2 separate shows every Sunday. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts, so please feel free to leave comments, positive or negative. As long as they are respectful and within the limits of the law, I'll leave them up on the post for everybody to see. I might even mention them on my on my next broadcast. So if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask your questions in the comments, and I'll bring those up. So you can also show your support by clicking on those like, follow, and subscribe buttons. And if you feel like showing a little bit more support, you can go to our website at www.therantreloaded.com and either click the donate button to donate, or visit the store for official The Rant Reloaded merchandise by clicking on the store link in the menu bar. Oh, And also, if you're interested in appearing as a guest on our show via webcam, you can let us know by filling out our guest application. Also on our website, just click the guest application on the menu bar. Till next time, this is the Rant Reloaded saying, if today's political climate isn't pissing you off, then you're not paying attention, because frankly, you should be pissed off at this point. So, until next time, my friends, take care and be blessed. This is Mario Colangelo with the Rant Reloaded saying, I will see you next week.